Welcome to the Real Estate Show with your real estate and mortgaging team, Terry Kilakos and Merav Marciano on CJAD 800.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Father's Day. You're listening to the Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Terry Kilakos, or as Peter Adamopoulos likes to call me, Taco Terry, because I like tacos. I'm a chartered real estate and mortgage broker, as well as president of Northeast Real Estate and Mortgage Agency, as well as Coldwell Banker Commercial Alliance. And today we're going to be talking about whether or not you should renovate your home before selling it, or maybe you'll renovate and you're going to keep it. Joining me, we have my co-host, Merav Marciano, chartered real estate and mortgage broker and vice president of Northeast and CBC Alliance. It's a mouthful.
I know. First of all, happy Father's Day, Terry.
Thank you very much.
It's quite a job to be a parent, and a father is.
What are you going to say?
No, it's a big job. It's a big job. And
I thought she was going to say something.
No.
Yeah.
I'm always nice.
All right.
No. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Enjoy your time with your kids, your grandkids, and even happy Pet Father's Day. Some people consider their pets like their little ones, and
you're so good. You're so good.
It's true.
I love it.
It's true.
Feel free to reach us online at nordest.ca, and you can also visit us on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/northeastnordest and facebook.com/CBC Alliance Quebec. And what is that one thing that I always say that people need to do? It's like escaping me right now.
I don't know.
They need to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is newsonthego.ca. If you guys like this show and you love what we do, there's no better way to show support than just hopping onto our YouTube channel, clicking the subscribe icon, so that way you're informed of all the upcoming shows and all the fun and exciting stuff that we do behind the scenes.
Yes.
Maybe we'll actually do a show. We're actually going on vacation this summer. Yes, we are. We're going for 3 weeks. It's been a long time coming. We're going to Greece, and maybe we'll end up doing a real estate show from Greece.
In Greek?
Not in Greek, no. Although that could be fun.
Yeah, I'll understand 50% of it.
So today we're going to be talking about renovations, whether or not you should do them before you sell your house. It's a hot topic. It's something that comes up all the time, and it's a question that we always have from not only our listeners, but it's something that comes up from our clients. They come in and they say, you know what, we're thinking about selling our house. We want to do a whole bunch of renovations before we actually go ahead and sell it. And what's your opinion, Merav? Do you sell your house for a little bit less, or do you renovate first to try and get the most dollar out of that home?
Well, I'll take us as an example. We recently finished our basement. We bought a house with an unfinished basement, and we're really, really enjoying that basement now. We did all kinds of different fun things down there. It's properly set up, nice floor. Everything is livable and enjoyable. And I'm just thinking, imagine we would have done that right before selling it.
Yeah.
How sad I would have been to know that I never got to enjoy that. And at the end of the day, it's the same cost, whether I spend it now and enjoy it for the next 10 years, or whether I spend it right before selling it. So I think it would hurt me a little bit to know that the house, I'm preparing it so nicely for the next buyers, but I didn't take the time or the energy to
enjoy it yourself.
Enjoy it myself in the right way. So as much as I see the value in renovating before selling, and some things are necessary, like you can't sell a house with, cracked tiles in the bathroom, for example.
Mm-hmm. Well, you could. You're going to have a price hit on the house, but yes, you could.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, some renovations make sense, and some, like I said, you might actually, after you do it, sort of regret putting it on the market because you didn't get to enjoy that.
One of the things that always kind of stood out to me is people will move into it, and I understand why it happens. Someone's going to go, they're going to move into the house. Life happens. You move in, maybe you'll slap a coat of paint on the walls. You'll do a couple little basic things here and there, but you're going to end up living in a house that is not necessarily to your standards, and I'm doing air quotes here. And then when you decide, you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I need to move out of this house. But before I move out of it, let me renovate.
Mm-hmm.
It comes up, like it happens all the time. And I never understood people that renovate for someone else for the future. You want to, for the next buyers, you want to renovate for yourself. That's my personal opinion. That's what I've always thought. Enjoy what the fruits of your labors, if you will.
Now, some things are necessary. Like, for example, we talked a couple of weeks ago about decluttering.
Yeah.
You even getting professional cleaning done. Some houses really need it, and sometimes a good cleaning will go a long way.
But would you consider that part of the whole renovation process?
I'm considering it part of preparing your home to sell it.
To sell it, right.
And to an extent, some of the I'm trying to be really polite here, but some of the dirt that you see in some places is bringing down the value of the home.
Right.
So definitely.
And we've always talked about this, about certain things that will actually support the value of your home, and other things will raise it, and yet other things will lower it. Right. So, for example, let's just give a couple of examples about that. Right. So if we're talking about cleanliness and making sure that the house smells good and stuff like that, I don't necessarily think that that's going to it's not going to raise the value of your home, but it will definitely support the value of the house.
And if it's dirty and it doesn't smell good, it will hurt the value of your home.
Yeah, and we talked about a couple of weeks ago when we had our show about organization and stuff like that, about people. I've gone to people's homes where they're heavy smokers, and there was literally nicotine flowing off of the windows.
Yeah.
Can I say a story?
Our country house?
Okay, yes. Our country house. Yes, let's talk about our country. I was going to talk about a tenant, but let's talk about our country house.
Our country house. When we bought it, what was it, 10, 12 years ago?
Yeah.
It looked really clean when we went in.
And it was clean.
It was clean-ish.
Yeah.
When we decided to start cleaning the walls,
deep cleaning the walls,
and getting them ready for paint, especially the places that didn't have the pine paneling, we noticed that everything was coated in nicotine.
Yeah.
And we found out that they literally smoked all day long in there. Literally every handrail, every wall panel, every wall, every piece of furniture that they left behind was coated in nicotine.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I mean, look, I'm not judging anyone. You want to smoke in your house, just know that the next buyer, the buyer who's going to
have an issue with it.
It has to be clean. It has to smell good.
By the way, even if the next buyer is a smoker.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to necessarily be smoking or living in someone else's nicotine, right? And it's very obvious. So I think you're right. A good cleanup is important. That's not the story I was going to say. I was actually going to say a story about one of my tenants. So imagine this. I had these tenants, and for the life of me, I can't remember. I think they were Polish. And I think it's a tradition that they would cook cabbage. They would boil cabbage on December 31st for some reason. So I get a call. We were at an event, and I get a call on December 31st, around 11 o'clock. And they say to me, hey, just to let you know, the upstairs, there's water leaking from the ceiling in the kitchen. And it's basically like this yellow water. And I was like, what the hell? So I did my thing at the party. I called the tenants upstairs. I was like, do you guys have any, water leaks, anything like that? No. We don't have anything. We went through the whole building at like 2 o'clock in the morning. I got there. I'm looking around. There's no water leaks anywhere. And then I realized that tenant was actually a very heavy smoker. There was a lot of nicotine that had formed on the walls and on the ceiling. And when they were boiling the cabbage, the steam from the boiled cabbage Actually, Merav looks like she's about to vomit right now, but the steam from the boiled cabbage was on the kitchen ceiling, and it was basically unsticking the nicotine.
Terry, stop with the details.
But it's true. It was really gross. It was
on a
really,
lighter note.
It was really gross, but that's a perfect example. A good cleanup and a good paint job went along.
I need a gravel. I need a gravel right now. That was a disgusting story. Speaking of paint, actually, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. How painting neutral, don't go painting red and blue and things like that. You want to sell it. You want to slap on a good coat of paint. It really goes a long way to walk into a home that's freshly painted. White, off-white, a light beige, a light gray.
Right. And that is actually a cheap renovation that you can actually do that will increase the value of your house. Okay, so this is something that will cost you probably under $1,000 if you're going to end up doing it yourself. You buy the paint yourself. You do your own thing. Make sure that you're plastering the walls properly. And then all of a sudden you slap that coat of paint on with the neutral colors. And now all of a sudden that house has a new life to it. So it's not only going to support the value, but it's actually going to raise the value of the property, because now the people that are coming in are going to say, well, we don't need to spend a couple of grand to actually paint these walls. Mm-hmm. It's already been painted.
Yeah.
But again, provided that you're painting neutral colors. If you decide that you're going to paint, lime green, it's not going to work. It's not going to flow well.
Yeah,
right. Makes sense.
I agree. And also just basic repairs, when a buyer walks through your home and they see light bulbs that are not replaced, doorknobs that are hanging, cabinets that are loose and, the doors hanging off. It just shows neglect in general. And it also...
And people spot that.
They spot that, and it actually removes the value from your home because they feel like, no, this home is not well taken care of. I'm going to have to put money into it, and they don't want to pay top dollar for it.
And I think also there's kind of, in the back of their minds, they're also saying, well, if they didn't fix that doorknob that was hanging, what else did they not fix in the home? So all of a sudden, there's all these doubts that'll start coming into their head. And you got to remember, a lot of people are really not creative, so they might see a broken doorknob and maybe that's the only thing that's wrong with your house. But to them, it's, the end of the end of the world. Yep. When we come back, we're going to be taking a look at kitchens and bathrooms and whether you get your money's worth with a remodel. But first, we're off to the CJAD Traffic Center.
You're listening to The Real Estate Show with your real estate and mortgaging team, Terry Kilakos and Merav Marciano on CJAD 800.
Only two things scare me, and one is nuclear war.
What's the other?
Excuse me?
What's the other thing that scares you?
Carnies.
What?
Circus folk. Nomads, Smell like cabbage. Small hands.
Austin Powers. Man, that cabbage story is still with me.
Yeah. You're listening to The Real Estate Show. And today we're talking about renovate, to list or to sell as is. Feel free to visit us online at nordest.ca, or you can reach us at the office at 514-680-4674. Carnies and cabbage.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so let's talk about kitchen. We were talking about kitchen before, that kitchen that was like, super covered in nicotine, and the cabbage kind of released
dripping.
Dripping.
Yeah.
Do we renovate a kitchen before we sell a home?
Look, kitchens and bathrooms sell homes. We know that. Okay, so a good kitchen, a good bathroom will definitely sell a home. Should you go in and do a full remodel, that's going to cost you $30,000 to $40,000. Statistics show that you're only going to get about 50% return on your money.
Wow,
for
interesting.
That. So yes, it'll sell it faster. It'll sell it better. But just like, we bought our home. It was a brand new kitchen. It was to our taste. We
loved it.
Yeah. But our friend walks in and says, are you guys going to tear this kitchen down and put a modern kitchen? And we're like, what? We love it like this. So had she bought our home, she would have torn it down. So,
And here's something really interesting, because the previous kitchen that was in our house was this white melamine kitchen, very basic, very white, very kind of generic. And the previous owners, before they sold the house, they said, you know what, we need to update this kitchen before we sell. And I'm glad they did, because I don't know if I would have spent, $30,000 on a kitchen, but they did. And when they did that renovation, it was beautiful. And we saw it and we were like, wow, this is great. And we want to buy this house. We love the kitchen. But our friend said, you guys should really put in like a white kitchen, a basic white kitchen, because that's going to that's the in thing now. And I was kind of looking at her and I'm going, what are you talking about?
But you see
that's
how
what came out.
Yeah, tastes are different. And I find if you're going to do a full kitchen remodel, it's a little bit of a tricky one. It's tricky. If you want to just get your kitchen updated, then changing the counters is something huge that you can do.
Especially a lot of people will have like burns on their counters. Yeah. They'll have stains and stuff like that. So yeah, a good counter, a change in the counter, change of the sink, I think it goes a long way.
Change of the backsplash or floors. Yeah. So it could be an update. It doesn't have to be a full remodel. You can keep the existing cabinets. You change the knobs on the cabinets, change the floors, change the backsplash. So you invest, let's say, $5,000 instead of $30,000. And now the kitchen is presentable. It's nice. It's clean.
And in a case like that, you might not only get... You're not going to get just 50%. Your chances are you're going to actually increase the value of your house, and you're going to increase it to a point that's actually higher than what your kitchen cost you.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's, at the end of the day, that's your goal. You want to be able to invest money into renovations that are going to return you more than what you spent. If you're going to go ahead and spend $50,000 on renovations and you're going to get back an extra $40,000 on your sale price, how are you a winner with that, right?
Exactly.
So it has to make sense. Same thing with bathrooms. Bathrooms is the same thing. You're going to do a full remodel with a modern rectangular bathtub, and then you have somebody saying, ooh, that's too modern for me. I'm going to go with something traditional.
Yeah, I want a, clawfoot bathtub.
They're going to tear down your work. So you might as well do something that's presentable, that's nice, a nice update, so that the money invested is not a crazy amount, but yet it's enough to make a difference.
I've always said that, especially with bathrooms, I mean, for the most part, I mean, I've seen some pretty out there bathrooms where they're pretty bad, but for the most part, most homes have decent bathrooms because people live in them. So if you're planning on selling, take a look at your bathroom before you actually go in and do the renovations. Maybe, again, like you said, changing a vanity, right? Something basic, changing the faucets, changing the light fixtures in the bathroom. Those are small little touches that you're not going to necessarily break the bank with, but they're going to actually give you a really good return on your investment. And you got to make sure that when you are changing these things, you're changing them to, how can I say? I mean, you're literally, I mean, you have to change it for the average taste. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you don't want to put something gaudy and ostentatious and stuff like that. You want to do something that's nice. Like, don't make your bathroom look like a Roman Colosseum, which I've also seen. Yeah. You got to be careful because it's not to everyone's taste. I would love that personally, but
somebody else would not.
Somebody else would not.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I definitely agree. And you don't have to buy brand new. Also, you can find some good deals out there. Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace. You can find a vanity that somebody bought that doesn't fit. You can really buy it for half price like that.
Actually, one of my favorite places to shop for anything that is bathroom related would be the Restore. So Habitat for Humanity has a store. It's on Notre Dame Street. And you go in there and basically they receive a lot of old stock from Home Depot, Reno Depot, different places. And they sell it. And they sell it for, forget a quarter of the price. I mean, sometimes they'll sell it for like next to nothing. And I go back to our country house. So one of the bathrooms, we actually did a full reno job in there. And I ended up buying an entire shower enclosure, plus the faucets, plus everything. I think I paid like $150 for everything. Brand new in the box, but it came from the Restore. Yeah. So not only am I saving money on the entire renovation project that I'm planning on doing, but I'm also at the same time doing something good and giving my money to, a worthy cause.
Yeah, good point. I forgot about the restore. We definitely bought a few things from there.
Yeah.
Even our vanity was actually, we bought it from someone who had bought it. It was too big, and it ended up fitting perfectly in our
in that bathroom. Yeah. We even put, I'm going to say this, we even put in a sauna in that bathroom. That one
was also bought from someone who bought it and never used it.
Yeah, so that sauna, which normally would have retailed for probably $1,500, I think we paid like a couple of $100 for it, $200-$300.
$300, yeah.
Never, ever was used.
Yeah.
It was purchased, never used. Saunas are one of those weird things where, you don't necessarily want to always use it. But look, we have a client right now who's selling a property, and they have a massive sauna, which he literally put in one of the rooms in hopes that he was going to install it one day and actually give it, make use of it. He never did. So he's selling it.
Brand new. Yeah.
And that's a perfect example. And that's like, a $3,000-$4,000 sauna, which he'll probably let go for, I don't know, $1,000, $1,500, something like that.
Yep.
So you can really, really save a lot of money by just, doing a little bit of hunting. And now all of a sudden, the dollars that you've put into your house are going to pay huge dividends for you.
Yeah, I agree. And it's the same thing with things like landscaping. It's something simple that we don't really think about. But, when somebody pulls up to your house and the paint on your door is chipped and, curb appeal.
Well, curb appeal. Yeah, exactly.
So, landscaping in general and curb appeal, the paint on your door is chipped. Your grass is not, your lawn is not mowed. It just looks disheveled. It looks non-presentable. But then you can go overboard also with that, where you have so much landscaping done that people are afraid of maintaining a garden or the yard.
Yep.
Some people just don't garden. And we do have one client who invested $150,000 into his backyard. It looked like an oasis. He was hoping to get that back also. So you also have to be careful not to overdo it with respect to the landscaping.
Right. There is such a thing as pricing your home out of the neighborhood. Mind you, in this market,
nothing is priced out of the neighborhood.
Nothing is priced out of. You could probably, get top dollar for everything. But this market is not always around. And eventually you have to realize that when you're going to invest $150,000 into your landscaping, yes, your backyard, everything is going to look wonderful, but at a certain point in time you got to look at it and say, not everybody's willing to spend that $150,000, and
to pay it as
extra,
a premium.
Exactly, to pay it as a premium. So I tell you, Merav, all these subjects that we need to cover. When we come back, we're going to be looking at what renovations to avoid when selling your home. Now we're off to the CTV News Update.
You're listening to The Real Estate Show with your real estate and mortgaging team, Terry Kilakos and Merav Marciano on CJAD 800.
You're listening to The Real Estate Show, and today we're talking about home renovations. And in case you're wondering what that clip was, it's from The Money Pit with Tom Hanks. Feel free to call us in with your questions. You can call the office at 514-680-4674, or you can visit us online at nordest.ca. All right, Merav, the big one. You ready?
The big one.
Wall-to-wall carpeting. By the way, I love that movie.
Ouch, wall-to-wall carpeting. I'm not a big fan. I'm certainly not a big fan of, I don't know, I find it feels like...
But do you find that most buyers don't want them?
Yes.
Yes, they want them?
Yes, they don't want them.
That's, yeah.
No, they don't want them. That's a double negative.
There you go.
No, I find that most people don't want wall-to-wall carpeting, and some are okay with it if it's upstairs or in the bedrooms.
Right.
Which I could understand. It keeps it warmer, less noise, and all that when you're walking upstairs.
I personally, I don't necessarily share the same opinion with Merav. I like to get out of bed in the morning and step down on a carpet. That's why we have hardwood floors, and I've put runners on either side of the bed so that when I step out, my feet touch a nice warm carpet as opposed to.
Oh my goodness!
What?
You're so finicky.
I know I am. I am?
I should get somebody to bring slippers to your feet when you wake up.
I have my slippers, but you know what it is? Do you remember that book when you were a kid? Did you read it about the princess and the pea?
Yes.
That's me. I'm that princess, or the prince. There you go.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that actually.
But okay. So wall-to-wall carpeting. I do agree. I don't think that wall-to-wall carpeting is very appealing, especially considering, when you want to sell your house and somebody else is coming in, they're going to look at it and they're going to say, how many years has this carpet been here? What kind of dirt is trapped in there? Do people really want to buy someone else's dirt?
Because no matter how much you clean it, and we've gone through the experience of removing wall-to-wall carpeting, whether it's at your parents' house, whether it's in the country, the dirt is in there. It's under the carpet. It seeps through.
No matter how much you clean it, no matter what you do.
If you spill something, it seeps through the carpet onto the subcarpet, and I'm talking about spilling something. Now imagine if you have an animal or something, it smells and things that stay behind. So I'm not a fan of it. Now, upstairs, I find it's got less usage. So you can do stain removal. You can do steam cleaning if you want to get it ready to sell. If you don't want to go through the whole hassle of installing new floors. It is a big expense.
Well, this is one of the important things. If you do have wall-to-wall carpeting and you are thinking about removing it before you go ahead and you actually sell a home, or even if you just want to upgrade the look of your house, it doesn't have to be just to sell your house. You have to remember something. You got to try and see if you can lift the corner, see what's underneath there. You might actually be surprised, and there might actually be hardwood floors underneath the carpeting.
That's true.
Which does happen. Which now all of a sudden it will save you money, because then at that point you can take it out, the wall-to-wall carpeting, get rid of it. You could probably do it yourself, in a weekend.
With a mask.
You definitely wear a mask, 100%. My mother, when she removed wall-to-wall carpeting, developed asthma after.
Yeah, she got some sort of thyroid issue after that.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, definitely a mask, because we've done it also. It's a lot of dust that just comes up.
Yeah.
It's years and years of dust.
But underneath that carpet, there was actually hardwood flooring, right? And the hardwood flooring can easily be, sanded. I was doing like the motion of sanding. So it could
sanded and varnished.
It could easily be sanded and varnished, and that would actually pay huge dividends for you, because sanding and varnishing old flooring, not replacing. A lot of people, they're going to have like really nice wood floors, and then what are they going to do? They're going to go off and they're going to go to Home Depot, or they're going to go to Renovate Depot, and they're going to buy floating floors to stick on top of them, which is actually cheaper quality than what their hardwood floors were. Now, it might look good, you might end up getting an upgraded look, but sanding and varnishing will probably go a long way, right?
Now, speaking of floating floor, if you don't have a floor under that carpet, would that be a good alternative versus hardwood?
You mean like the floating floors?
The floating floor, the vinyl floors, to basically put down a nice look, but without having the expense of the hardwood.
Yeah, so luxury vinyl flooring right now is, the in thing. It's pricey. It's not cheap, and it's labor intensive. So I don't know. I don't know if you're going to recoup the money.
Yeah. I mean, some renovations, it's not necessarily to increase the value of your home, but it's more to sell your home better or faster.
Right.
So you might want to spend a weekend putting down that floating floor, and yes, it's going to be an investment, but at the end of the day, when somebody walks in and they say, wow, this is really nice, maybe that'll sell your house faster.
But in this market, do you really need to do it? That's the question.
Yeah, in this market, I get it. But how long is this market going to last? Do you still have to think in a long-term way? If somebody's thinking about selling in a year or two, they still have to think of this plan.
And at least they get to enjoy, that upgraded look to their home for the next year or two.
That's what I would do. I would not renovate right before selling. I would renovate a year, 2 years before selling so that I could actually enjoy some of those renovations.
The fruits of your labor.
Yes. You're hilarious. Father's Day is getting to your head.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna skip what I was about to say.
Swimming pools. What do you think?
I love swimming pools.
Should you get one dug up in order to sell your home better?
Absolutely not.
Should you install an above ground pool to sell your home better?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Do not invest in putting in a swimming pool to sell because you think that you're going to get more money from that house, because I could guarantee you whoever is going to be buying that house, they're going to look at your swimming pool and either they're going to say, oh my God, it's an in-ground pool, it's dangerous, I have kids. Oh my God, it's an above ground pool, it should be an in-ground pool. Oh my God, the pool is too small. Oh my God, the pool is too big. You cannot make...
It's not safe.
It's not safe. It's not this. It's not that. You can't make everyone happy.
Yeah.
I've actually had clients who have bought homes with swimming pools. And as I'm sitting there with them doing their mortgage, they're like, can we put in an extra $5,000 for renovations? And I'm like, sure. I'm like, what do you want to do? I'm getting rid of the swimming pool. And I'm like, what do you mean you're getting rid of the swimming pool? They're like, yeah, we're going to fill in the hole and it's going to be about $4,000 or $5,000 to do that. They categorically did not want a swimming pool. And if you think that that's one customer out of, the thousands, it is not. It happens more often than you think, where people will actually want to get rid of that swimming pool. Now, a good investment, if you do have a swimming pool and it has like an old funky liner or there's something wonky with it, make sure that you get it serviced properly. Maybe change the liner on it.
Yeah.
Not a huge investment again, but that can actually definitely support the value of what your house would be worth. Because if somebody comes in and they see a liner that is, green or falling apart or is, not up to par, they are going to definitely hit you up for a price reduction.
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. And some people just find pools are a lot of work.
Yep.
So it's not about safety, it's not about look. They just say, I don't want to have a pool. It's a lot of work.
And some guys don't want to have a pool boy because, they're worried that their wife's going to be looking at the pool boy instead of...
Terry. Yes. Most people take care of their own pool.
I want a pool boy or a pool gal. I don't discriminate.
Having somebody taking care of your pool is definitely a good investment if you're not willing to do it yourself. But again, everything comes at a cost.
Absolutely. And if you're willing to pay, you can have every service known to man in your home.
Oh, you're too much.
I know. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at whether it's worth adding an extension to your home.
You're listening to The Real Estate Show with your real estate and mortgaging team, Terry Kilakos and Merav Marciano on CJAD 800.
Thank you for tuning in. Today's discussion is about whether or not it's worth renovating your home before listing it on the market. You're listening to The Real Estate Show on CJAD 800. Very important. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, newsonthego.ca. All the fun and exciting stuff that we do here, it lives on our YouTube channel, so you can go on there and you can see all the crazy stuff. And if you need to reach us at the office, you can call us at 514-680-4674. Or you could visit us online too, nordes.ca.
Exactly.
I'm like... Boom, throwing them out there. So let's talk about tailored rooms. Before the traffic, I said we were going to talk about extensions, but I do want to talk about tailored rooms. And this is actually an important part because a lot of times people are going to invest a lot of money in tailoring certain parts of their house because they believe that it's going to pay dividends again, but someone else coming in might look at it and say,
I don't want that.
I don't want that.
Yeah. So examples, a bar that is actually built in.
Yeah.
So you have a built-in bar, and now they come in and they say, "Oh, that's a kitchen counter right in the middle of nowhere. I didn't want that. It looks like a whole job to tear this down."
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. You want to put a bar, put something that's removable.
Right.
They have
Easily removable. Yeah, exactly.
They sell a lot of nice bar units that you could just remove. So why go to the extent of building, And we just went through that. We built a bar in our basement, and we looked at the possibility of having it built in, and we said, okay, maybe it's not such a good idea. It's to have it built in, and we just bought a bar unit.
And where did we buy it from?
Facebook Marketplace. Don't tell anyone.
Facebook Marketplace, man. I'm all about saving some money.
Yeah.
You save a couple of grand here, you save a couple of grand there, and then you can invest that money somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? And it's the same thing with home theaters.
Yeah.
Playrooms.
Yeah.
We've seen basements where the whole basement is padded. It's just one big area for
padded.
Kids.
What
those
for
colored padding
for people that are going to bounce off the walls?
No, on the
what
floor.
do you mean padded?
The padded floors?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, you do. The playrooms that have those big padded tiles.
No clue what you're talking about.
Oh, come on. You're so mean.
You're talking about those colored tiles that you snap together?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't like those?
Well, you have a basement full of those. It's great. Your kids are having a great time, but you want to show your house to somebody who doesn't have kids. They can't relate
right.
to
so
that.
You bring up actually a really good point, and a lot of times, and hopefully I don't insult anyone right now, but I'm going to say it anyways because I don't hold back. You have to remember, generally when someone buys a house, they're just getting married, maybe just having a kid or having two, and you decide that you're going to make that basement into the kids' playroom. So you put down that padded flooring.
Oh, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. You put in the padded flooring, but you made it sound like it was a padded room you were building. So I was like, what is this? It would be cool.
Wait,
sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
No, don't go off.
Just remind me.
I won't.
In a second.
I don't
okay, anyways. So you end up having this room which is completely, dedicated to the children, which is all fine and dandy. But when the time comes that you're going to sell your house, it's a problem. Because that room with those colored square tiles and
a ton of toys
everywhere, it freaks some people out.
It's a bit much. You can organize it in a way that it looks nice and neat. The toys can be put away. You can buy bins to put them away, but you do have to have that area presentable. It might be your kids' play area, but it does have to be presentable to a buyer to have the vision of putting something different down there. So that's part of the whole tailored rooms. Just make sure that you could show or you could demonstrate that this is not what this room is only intended for.
And the other thing that's very important, and guys, and this is the part that I was saying, don't take offense to this, but you have to remember when you and your wife or you and your husband, you're buying this home, for you and your children, don't forget you are parents first. Oh, sorry, you're husband and wife first, and parents not necessarily second, because I don't want to say that. You're not parents second. They both kind of have an equal importance, but you can't let go of the fact that you are husband and wife. And it's so important that you make sure that your environment, whether it's your room or whether it's the rooms that you're actually hanging around in, reflect that.
Yeah, and it's the same thing for single people. It's not necessarily just for married people.
Yeah,
you might be an artist. You have to remember you're a person first, then you're an artist. So don't have your art everywhere.
Artists are artists first.
But you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to have your art splattered everywhere. You can't have paint everywhere splattered in your house. We've seen people do that with, they're in machine shop. They have their tools lying around. So just remember that it has to be presentable to any kind of buyer. So
you know what I was going to say? Imagine a room with Velcro walls, and you have a Velcro suit on, and you run and you jump onto that wall.
Man, your imagination is running wild.
You see, this is what would happen if Merav actually let me do everything that I wanted to do. I would actually have a Velcro room, and that would be cool.
That would be very cool.
Yeah.
You should patent that idea.
Yeah.
On to the next subject. You were talking about extensions. Should you do a home extension?
Extensions are wonderful, but generally when someone does an extension, it's not to sell their house. Generally, when you're doing an extension, it's because you want more space and you want to stay put where you actually are. If you decide that you want to do an extension so that you can sell your house, you better make sure that you do your calculations properly and you actually get a realtor to come in before you do anything and say, hey, I'm thinking about adding an extra 200, 300 square feet to this house. What would be the value if I sold my house as is and moved somewhere else? And what would be the value if I basically did the extension and sold it and then moved somewhere else?
And I think that exercise is important for any major renovations you plan on doing. So I would recommend before you hop into renovations, you make a list of everything you were hoping to do, get quotes from professionals, and then you come up
multiple quotes.
Yes, and then you come up with your final, spreadsheet. I am an engineer, so I love spreadsheets. And you say, okay, if I invest this $200,000, $50,000, whatever it is into the home, let me bring in a realtor. And let's say the total renovations you're putting in is $100,000, and the real estate broker says, well, you'll get maybe an extra $50,000. Then at that point, it's not worth it.
Exactly.
Right? But if they say, yes, with that $100,000 invested, now you'll be able to sell this house for $200,000 more, then do it. And obviously you need the money to do it.
Yeah.
That's another important point that we sort of skipped over. The money.
Yeah. Where are you going to get the money from? Do you have it or do you have to remortgage? And that's something that comes up very often.
And if you refinance, you have to take penalties into calculation. There's a lot of things that you have to take into account.
It's one of the things that, part of what I do when someone comes in to renegotiate their mortgage because they want to do renovations, we'll sit down and we'll actually do the calculations and we'll say, if you renovate, this is what penalties you're going to pay. This is what expenses you're going to have. If we get that money out of your mortgage, does it make sense? Or are you basically just, throwing money into something that doesn't necessarily make sense for you to do it?
And, in conclusion, basically, you could decide to just sell it as is also. So you can renovate and sell for more. You could sell it as is, or you can renovate and fall back in love with your home.
Which a lot of people do.
And not sell at all. So.
Yeah. And I'm more of the fall in love with your home.
Yeah.
Merav, we've run out of real estate. If people want to get a hold of us,
you can call us at the office at 514-680-4674 or reach us online at www.nordest.ca.
Guys, till next week, have a blessed week. Love you all.